Chamomile. It's kind of tea. It makes your stomach feel better.
I'm stupid.
It helps when you remember to turn the camera on.
This thing is called a rib, and unlike Adam's rib, this thing actually is making something.
What are you looking at? Sometimes I really just don't have a lot to say on the outside. I'm saying things on the inside of my head. Like when I ride in the car and my husband says, "What?" And I'm like, I didn't say anything. It's like, well, what are you thinking? I'm like, oh no. No. That's the one real place where you can have privacy in your own head. How wonky are you? Not the worst wonky I've ever seen. That's what makes these handmade pots so interesting. They really just take on their own life. Hey, creepy. I'm trying to figure out what's going on in my head. Why you creeping on me? All my friends are heathens. Take it slow. You don't know the half of the abuse. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means at all.
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba. Just trying to make sure it attaches. It's like you don't want to bang this teapot against something and end up with a hole in it in that spot. It's super thin. Trust me, I'm a plumber. Glenn says I'm a plumber. I twisted a spigot in and now I'm a plumber. Glenn has been adopted by my family. My brother and I said it's okay because he wrote me the best compliment I have ever gotten, probably, on my channel. Sorry, guys. Glenn wins the prize. I'm going to have to read it out loud to y'all. It was so touching. Just the greatest compliment. One time, my husband and I decided to bug out and go camping. We gave ourselves 30 minutes to get out of the house, pack everything we needed for our camping trip. What we didn't do was make sure that we had a campsite to go to. So we got in the car and we drove to a place where we had heard that there were great campsites. When we got there, all the camps were closed because it was during a government shutdown and the national parks, federally funded national parks, had to close. And so we quickly had to use the internet to find another place to go. I called a place that I found. We're in the parking lot of a Walmart somewhere in East Texas. And I started calling places to see if they had any campsites available because here we are, we're with a kid, and I mean, there's not really any, what do you call that? Land where you're just allowed to walk out onto and camp. So we needed to find a private campsite. And I found one on Lake Sam Rayburn. We got an awesome campsite. But for a little while there, I mean, our son was, I don't know, 9 or something like that. And he was tired of driving and a little irritable. But the minute we got out to our campsite and set up our tent, he was fine. And I think we had both dogs with us. I think Henry went with us too. We let those dogs run off the leash at the campground, and they had a ball. The cool thing about my dogs is they come back. They want to be with us. I realized I adopted them, didn't give the dogs a choice, but now they want to be with us. Or they have, what is that called? Helsinki Syndrome? Munchausen's? No. That thing where you like your captor. Sometimes I feel sad that you have to break up dogs' families because people can't have families with 6 dogs. If you could, I think we'd have a different setup. Or if you wanted to. I mean, I don't know. 2 dogs is plenty. But 1 dog isn't enough. I mean, I think 2 dogs is probably the perfect number of dogs to have for a traditional mom and pop and kid family. Because dogs need a pack. I don't think it's fair to a dog to leave a dog home alone. I mean, maybe some dogs don't care. I don't know about cats. Henry would not be happy if he didn't have a Tika. And Tika wouldn't be happy without a Henry. As a matter of fact, when our last dog, Bob, died, Tika was very sad for a long time. She used to groan a lot, like right at bedtime, and it was sad. She wanted her friend back. He wasn't coming back because he got angel wings. Our bug out was kind of a success, kind of a failure. Partially because we had to stop and eat fast food because there's nowhere you can just like pull over on the side of the road and heat up your little stove. Not without somebody chasing you off. Besides, the guys, they didn't want to eat what we had. I really could have done it. I've been dying to try out like my little cook pot and stuff that goes in my emergency bag. I had my emergency bag, my bug out bag. I had it when we went to Houston one time. We were staying in a hotel. My son was tired and cranky and he was hungry. And we had, like, our hotel, there weren't a lot of restaurants or anything right near the hotel. Everything was quite a walk away. You know, you'd have to get the car out of the parking garage. That was kind of where you just didn't want to go anywhere. And I had my comfort food, my ramen noodles, in the package. So I was heating up, boiling little paper cups full of water. So I think that's all they had in their room was like paper cups and a little coffee pot. So I was using the coffee pot, not a hot pot, a coffee pot, to boil water and then cook the little noodles in a tiny cup, just a little at a time. And it really saved the day because we're all cranky, exhausted, and, had nowhere else to go really for a while. Kind of stuck in the room. I can't tell you how many times I've dug into that bag. Just went out and about because I needed something. The other day, I was getting out of the car and I scraped my knee and I went into my bag and it was about 105 degrees in the car, I'd have to say. And the Neosporin had melted and it shot all over my leg. But it felt so much better because I had just like skinned my knee and it just really stung. Stupid ants bite. Ow! The heck? I'm not real allergic to ant bites. Here's what Glenn said to me. He's Apple Stump Bushcraft. Stuff and Things. Apple Stump Bushcraft Stuff and Things. That's kind of a long name. Julie Silversmith, you might start a new phenomenon. Texas Homesteaders Rants, Pet Peeves, and Jabberwocky. Personally, I like your style, delivery, and sometimes quirky, hot-off-the-griddle, down-home realism, including rants, rips, and revelations. The most sought-after jewels have many facets. It's how those facets gather and scatter light that enhances their value. Your channel is one that I will always watch, because it sparkles and flashes, sometimes coolly and sometimes with fire. And that's why Glenn's my new brother. Thank you very much. That was it's an amazing compliment. I think I'll just read it again now, because it makes me happy. Sometimes quirky. Sometimes quirky? You think? Well, that's me, a jewel of many facets. in my royal crown. The royal crown. Is that a horse race? Crown Royale? I feel like I got my fingers under a butt there. Like I'm holding up a tiny baby. Hey, what are those things called? What are those things called?
They're called things.
The Maiden of the Mist? Or the mermaid on the front of a boat?
That's called a mermaid.
The masthead? The maidenhead. Is that right? 'Cause that sounds that sounds wrong. Okay, I'll have to look it up because that sounds dirty. Okay. What do you call the mermaid on the front of a boat?
Here's what I found on the web for will you call the mermaid on the front of a boat.
Here is what I found. Maidenhead is a large town in the county of Berkshire, England. It lies southwest of the River Thames.
Alright, here's what I got. Here's what I found on the web for what is the female figure on the front end of a ship.
It was called a figurehead. And what's the right side of a boat? Starboard! Told you he was smart.
Yes, I think you have a polyp.
Yes, I'm a plumber. Sorry, guys. You're all a bunch of heathens. Bought myself a little gift.
The Jumbo Pooper Scooper.
I mean, it's for the dogs. I mean, yeah. Okay. Gotta go clean up the yard. Fun, fun, fun. All my friends are heathens, take it slow.